Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Kelly and Jim here with another edition of XFP's Collector Corner. We're talking with Brian Pikelny today. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you.
We're so excited to have you.
So, Brian,
go ahead.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Related to X-Files, just my general boring life.
Doesn't matter. A little of everything.
Well, I'm 62 years old. I'll retire in a few years. Related to X-Files, I was watching TV on a Friday night, and I saw the promo for the show back in 1993. I thought it'd be interesting, and I watched it, and I've been hooked ever since. And some of my friends say I'm maybe a little too obsessed, but I don't think so.
No, you're
Just enjoying the fandom.
Exactly.
That's right. You tell them you don't need that negativity in your life.
Right.
Man after my own heart, the original run.
Right from the pilot episode, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Many rewatches.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like a few times a week we're watching some X-Files here.
Oh, yeah.
On Comment TV, they just had a marathon. I don't know if you saw that. I tried to post it. I think I posted it on your site. So that was fun to watch.
Yeah, we try to squeeze it in when we can. We're extremely busy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand.
When did you start collecting?
Well, initially I didn't start collecting. As the show became more popular, I wanted to find out more about it. So I started out with, if you remember, there was a fandom magazine called Starlog. I don't know if you remember that magazine. So they would have great magazine. I was very sorry to see that they stopped publishing. So they would print articles on X-Files. And then I started collecting magazines just to learn about the actors and behind the scenes. And then I think it was in 1998, just before the first movie came out, they came out with the X-Files game. And there we go.
All right.
So this is probably my very first collectible. And I played this game so many hours. I thought it was the greatest thing. And it's amazing David and Jillian that year in 98, or it was in 97 actually, because the movie came out in 98, must have been working hours and hours, because they filmed this stuff. And I was reading about it. They said the scenes they did didn't take that long, but it seemed like it. But if you played the game, did you guys play the game?
Absolutely, I did back in the day.
Any true X-Files fan will play this game. But it looked, they had another character was the main character, and that Mulder and Scully were background characters. So this, I would say, is my very first collectible.
Great.
It's awesome. And I love that you kept the packaging and everything. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So now we know what your first piece was. That was actually going to be my next question. So I'm going to move on to the $1 million question. Do you have a favorite piece?
I wouldn't say pieces. My thing is, I love meeting the actors and the cast of the show. Any place where they're doing something, I go. Awesome. And get an autograph or get a photo. So I would say all my photos and autographs of Dave and John I met numerous times, and all the cast. And X-Fest, you guys were there. It was awesome. And so I have a whole box full of photos and autographs. And that's probably my favorite pieces right there.
That's awesome.
That's great.
There's nothing like getting the autograph in person. You could buy them online, but it ain't the same. It ain't the same.
And talking to them too. I was talking to David Duchovny about baseball because he's a big New York Yankees fan, and he was at WizardCon. So the Cubs were making their move. I'm a Chicago guy for the World Series, and I asked him, "Will the Cubs win the World Series?" And he goes, "Yeah, it looks like they have a good shot." And I said, "I hope we see the Yankees doing it." He goes, "I hope so too."
I think that's where we met David. I know it was in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was WizardCon, but
I'm glad I attended that because that's probably the last time. Well, they did some other things, but that's the last time anything like that. Get them together for that.
Right.
Right. Yeah. He was awesome. I mean, I was impressed with how friendly he was. And even though the lines were crazy and, you know, they were trying to rush you through, he took the time. And then remember when we did the photo and I blinked, he made them retake that. He called me back and made them retake that picture for me. And I was just like, you know, that was impressive to me that he gave a crap.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
It was great. Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek was in the booth right next door to his. So I was there. I think if you remember on Instagram, he posted it. He met with her and talked with her in between the photographs. I was watching that. It was kind of neat.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy.
Yep.
You know, is there a piece of X-File merchandise collectible that you'd really like to get your hands on?
Your Grail piece?
Not really. I just want to keep getting pictures, autographs, and meeting the actors and the cast members. I think if I can, I think I've completed all that. I mean, X-Fest did a really good job. And the last one I did, Annabeth Gish and Robert Patrick, I didn't have them together. And
Awesome.
That was my very last one. They were at a horror convention in Indiana, I believe. And I went there and I got a picture with them. So that was probably the last thing I wanted. So my life is complete now, I guess.
Yeah. When it comes to you know, the cast of the X-Files, we're big fans of, like, you know, supporting cast.
Yeah.
Like the supporting cast, you know. For an example, let's take the episode Ice or something, you know, all the supporting guests.
I'd love to be able to meet them,
you know. We'd love to meet, you know, remember Bear, the pilot. It'd be really cool to meet him, you know, stuff like that.
Right. And a lot of them are mainstream actors. A lot of them, I don't know if you like Walking Dead. A lot of them end up on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bear.
Oh my God, I just forgot her name. But I met her for Silent Hill. But remember, she was in.
Oh, Laurie Holden.
Yeah.
Yep.
I met Laurie Holden. But I had just watched Silent Hill, so you know, I got her to sign a Silent Hill picture, and now I'm kicking myself for not getting another one.
Right.
That's somebody I got to meet. I haven't met her yet, so I'll change my answer. I have to add her to my list.
There you go. You got to get her.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, I see some of your X-File stuff in the back. You want to, you know, and it seems kind of cataloged pretty nicely.
Yeah. I mean, I've got you guys represented in there.
Yeah, well, that's the best out of all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I can show you at the top. Can you see that? Let me get up, maybe go a little closer. I don't know without. So, I've got it divided up. I don't have much room, you know, and actually this is a good time because this was all in boxes.
Yeah.
And so I've just spent probably a few months ago, I organized all this. So it was fun.
It looks very well organized.
Yeah. So the top, I like collecting X-Files books. Not necessarily the novelizations of stories, but anything. If you look on the left there, I don't know if you can see, when the IDW comics came out, I had to collect all those. So I've got all the comics. Mm-hmm. And they made books with the comics and books.
Yep.
I've got all that. Awesome. And then I've got the books, The Complete X-Files, which is basically a summary of all the episodes with behind the scenes stuff. I love reading about behind the scenes things that happened on the show, the problems they had. And, you know, I love reading about, like, Gillian Anderson was very short and she had to stand, they called it the Jilly box, you know, whenever she was doing a scene with David, because he's pretty tall. And then my next passion is trivia, X-Files trivia. And I try to get all the trivia books to see if they can stump me. And then I've got some like collectible stuff, TV guides that came out. You know, I've got all those with their pictures on it. And then, like I said, I've got all the comics. And then if you go a little lower, I've got all the DVDs. I got one of Jillian's movies in there too as well. And I've got the mythology DVDs.
Awesome.
And every season, it's not the Blu-ray. I don't have a Blu-ray player. As I said, I used to go to, anytime an actor would go to a presentation. I don't know if you remember, there was a group called IBG. They were out in Los Angeles. They did charity work, and they did one of Jillian's charities, neurofibromatosis.
Right.
Bring these pictures out. So here's, you can see
Nice.
that. I got their autographs. So
Yeah.
they did that twice, and then they videotaped it for DVD, of course. And then this one, Chris Carter was there too, and Rob Bowman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Awesome.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so I got the DVDs for that. And then I got a real thrill. Jillian was in Chicago, 2013. She did a mini series called Crisis. If you
Yep.
remember that one? And she was filming. So again, neurofibromatosis is her, there's the DVD for that. Neurofibromatosis is her charity because her brother died of that. And let me get this against my face.
There we go.
So she came, and for charity, she had a talk, and it was an intimate thing, like 100 people were there, and people would donate charity to meet with her. And so that was a good thing. They DVD'd, and I got to ask her a really, really interesting question. She spent some time answering it, and I really appreciated it. The question I asked her was, I've always wanted to ask her this, and when you're doing signings at the conventions, you really can't talk to them very long because the line got to keep moving. So I asked her, I mentioned Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek. He played Spock, a very iconic character. Well, Gillian Anderson played Scully. I would say equally, if not more, of an iconic character. So Leonard Nimoy found after he finished Star Trek that he couldn't get jobs because he was typecast as Spock. And he was very frustrated because he was a serious actor. So he wrote a book, I Am Not Spock. As a book, to tell everybody I'm not Spock. So I asked Jillian, no, you're always going to be known as Dana Scully as a character.
Yeah.
And I know you've done other stuff. How does that make you feel? I mean, are you worried that you're always going to be known for that and not known for your other work? And she gave the right answer. She says, well, I've done enough of other things that I'll be known as Scully. And she's very grateful for the opportunities that opened up for her as Scully. And she's confident that she's done other significant work. Dana Scully is, a major part of it, but she's a serious actor as well. And she thinks that her work will stand on its own. So that was great to talk to her for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Here's the question for you. Are you a Monster of the Week fan or a mythology?
Well, I get these questions all the time, and I'll always give the same answer. It's asking, like, who's your favorite child?
Yep.
Okay. So I like them both, and I thought how he did it was great because the mythology, as well as I do, is very convoluted.
Yep.
And he even admitted, I think I saw Chris Carter at an event, that somebody asked him, well, did you make this up as you went along? And he kind of hinted that he did, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to get 1 week a Monster of the Week, and then they throw mythology in there periodically. So I thought how they did it was fantastic.
Yeah. When the original run, when you started first watching it, and because we're old school. I mean, are you really surprised how it blew up like it did? It just got huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically very cinematic. I mean, it's like watching a movie every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then how it did explode. It did explode. And I thought that the writing was fantastic. The acting was fantastic. The direction was fantastic. I mean, everything was done. My only complaint would be, if I had to do a complaint, was I thought the darkness, I'm talking about not the themes, but the lighting, because it's hard to see what's going on there. And I'm wondering if they could lighten it up a little more. And I think they did that on purpose to make it a little more scary.
Right.
I think in the episodes, I mean, you have to turn the brightness up on your TV.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite episode?
Oh, again, here we go with the question. That's like asking who my favorite child is.
Yeah.
I'll reverse it. I love them all except 2 episodes.
Okay.
2 episodes. One, I have to admit I despise that episode. And the other one, I just thought it was, the monster in there was bad. And the one I despise the most is Fight Club from season 7. I really hated that episode.
Yeah, that one gets a lot of hate.
You know what it is? I watch it and I cringe.
That does get a lot of hate.
Yeah, that one gets a lot of it. And that was written by Chris Carter, and he defends it. And the second episode, which he wrote also, called Space. And that one I didn't like because the alien monster was just a distorted face on the astronaut.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
yeah,
I can understand Mission Control looked like something you unpack from a 70s computer store, but
but in space, in defense of space, you just watch it for what it is. I mean, it reminds me of the old school 70s B science fiction. I totally enjoyed it. It gets a lot of hate, but I totally enjoyed it. I'm not a big fan of the fan favorites and stuff. I like some of the fan favorites, but people ask me, what's your favorites, and they look at me like I got 6 heads.
There's some for everyone, and that's one of the things I love about it. There's so many different episodes. They went into all different genres that everyone can pick a favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I don't want to sound, people watching this video will sound like I'm a jerk, but I think a true X-Files fan will say they don't have a favorite episode.
Right.
They like them all, or they have favorite. Now, one episode that I did really like, I think if I had to rank them, I like Paper Hearts.
Paper Hearts?
Huh.
Yeah. And the reason I like that, because I thought it was, Mulder's trying to find his sister.
Yep.
And it was kind of given that she was abducted by aliens.
Yep.
And then threw in the mythology that she was basically kidnapped and experimented on. But Paper Hearts, I think it was written by Vince Gilligan, threw a little sidestep on it, that what happened if she was kidnapped by a serial killer? And how he wrote it was, at the end, you're still wondering if that happened, because remember, they found that unidentified body, and the serial killer would say, would tell him who that was if he let him live. And of course, the serial killer died. So there's that mystery, was that unidentified body Samantha? And of course, we find out later with closure that she went to Starlight. And I won't get into that a little bit.
Right.
Absolutely. So what does your friends and family think of your collection?
Or I would say, we would say your dedication, your obsession.
My family, not so much. They're not fans. My friends who I've met with X-Files, they think I'm a little overboard with it, but they love the show as much as I do. In fact, most of them who I met, we met through watch parties. Back then, the internet was just starting out too, so you would get online and talk about the show, and then you'd find people in the area, and then Friday nights we'd get together at somebody's house and watch the episodes, and then talk about them. And then we moved to Sunday nights when we went to Sunday nights. So met a lot of good people with that. And then I don't know if you remember the Scully marathons. Remember those? No.
I think so.
This was done by because again, a charitable thing with neurofibromatosis. So there were groups of X-Files fans like me that would get together like one day out of the year and play Scully-centric episodes for charity. You'd come and donate, and then you'd have trivia games, watch bloopers and things like that. So this is my next item. They videotaped some of these things. I want to put this on DVD because VHS is gone away by the dinosaur. So they did this like 2 years in a row back in 2000.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's on my list to get that on DVDs. I'll preserve it.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I didn't know about. So that's
Right.
really cool.
Are you surprised that the X-File fandom, some of the really young generation is jumping in and falling in love with the show?
Not at all. I mean, I think it's for a show that was in the 90s, it dates pretty well. I mean, except the large cell phones. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
the old cars.
Yep.
I was up in Canada in Calgary. I think Jillian was supposed to show up, but she canceled out the last minute. But
Yeah.
David, Mitch, and Cigarette Smoking Man were there. And we were sitting at there's a fan, I forgot her name. She's on YouTube, bad with names. She does improv, and she was doing an improv thing, and it was an X-Files thing. And there was a little girl, she had to be, and this was fairly recent, maybe about 7, 8 years ago. The little girl had to be about 10 years old.
Yeah.
And she was answering the trivia questions, and her mom was sitting next to her, and I was sitting next to her. And I said, excuse me, I don't want to, but the show was kind of, for a 10-year-old, it's maybe a little tense. And she goes, yeah, I know. I only let her watch certain episodes, but the episodes she's allowed to watch, I mean, she knew.
And that was the same girl that was at X Fest, that little girl. Remember her? She had to be like.
Yeah, that was her. That was her.
Yep.
Was,
yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, I saw her at X Fest. Yeah.
She totally impressed us.
Yeah, I was totally shocked and blown away. She knew some stuff that, believe it or not, I didn't even know.
She stumped you.
Yeah, she did.
That's awesome.
Hopefully she's old enough now she can see all the episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Or she's sneaking them like, any other teenager.
Right.
I mean, I see little kids watch Walking Dead, and,
No, it's crazy.
I mean, when Negan batted Glenn and Abraham, I mean, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I've seen little kids watch that. So, so that's enough. That's, X-Files is nothing compared to that. So.
Right.
Oh, exactly.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, you got Home is probably the one, and I think that got banned on network TV.
Yeah.
Watching TV. So that was a pretty intense episode. And then another one, Irresistible, I thought was really intense episode too.
Yeah.
I still say Too Shy is grosser than any other episode. I'm sorry. That guy creeps me out.
That episode is great too, because a lot of women go, wow, that's a good way to lose fat.
Yeah. That is not a good way,
No.
I thought the twist they did on that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They would pick overweight women and then they would die by losing all their fat. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right, some of those writers, you got to wonder what's going through their minds.
I was just going to say that. You got to stop and think about it,
Right?
and it's like,
who thought of that?
Who thought of it? And, back in, what is wrong with you to think of that? And it's, yeah.
No, that one is grosser than Home to me.
It's a good app. I enjoyed it.
It's a good app, but I'm just saying, when I see people say Home is like so disturbing, I'm like, yo, did you watch Too Shy? Because that creeps me out.
That one, I can't think of other ones, but Home is probably, to me, I think is the most raunchiest. I mean, just the disturbing contact of baby.
The concept.
Yeah, it's the concept of it.
Yeah, then a amputee, quadruple amputee woman living under on probably the other one is Bad Luck. That's another.
Oh, yeah, that one creeps me out too.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot from some people.
And that squeak.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Robert Patrick says that episode freaked him out when he said in interviews. And then when I'm watching that, I go, give that guy some WD-40 for his little role.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But that's why we watch, right? We want to be creeped out, and
we love talking about it too, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I think I plugged all my questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your collection with us and taking the time to talk with us.
Okay, and I got my grays on, and then recognize the hat.
Nice.
Nice.
When I saw David at the convention, he saw the grays hat, and Gillian saw that, and they complimented me on that. So that was a nice throw.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then let me just show you one other thing
Absolutely.
with mouse pads.
Oh, nice.
So I have a mouse pad
I want to believe.
and this one there. And then I got my, you remember the X-Files fan club? I got my membership cards.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yep.
You get the little keychain.
Yep.
Nice. I bet you, Jim was telling me, because I wasn't a part of this, but the AOL chat room things,
Did you
I didn't do those, but
did
he
you
did.
go online?
If you remember this, Prodigy, remember Prodigy?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I was on Prodigy when I was doing that. So
Ah,
AOL I didn't like because I heard it was very hard to cancel with them if you wanted to cancel them. In fact, I think there's a very funny YouTube video of a telephone call with a customer service rep at AOL basically refusing to cancel a guy's service, because whatever. But Prodigy was back in the old days. I had a 23 megahertz computer.
Wow.
220 meg hard drive.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good stuff back then. No, it really was.